Hi, welcome back to another video. This video is the first video in a 4 to 5 part series on how to learn tarot. Now, I'm going to walk you guys through all the basics of tarot. What is a deck? How do you use a deck? Why do you use tarot? Why do you how do you get the guidance from tarot? All of those things. I'm going to talk about all of that in this particular video. And I'm going to talk about more in the next upcoming videos like intuition and how to merge the meanings in the card and how to build a story from all the cards that are spread in front of you, and all of those teeny tiny details. I'm going to cover all of those things in the next upcoming videos, so make sure you are subscribed to this channel and push that notification bell because you want to be notified about every video I post, because this 1 month is going to be your how to learn tarot training, and I'm so happy to be guiding you through this. Now let's get into the first lesson of a tarot deck. A lot of people would ask me, how do I read tarot, or how good is tarot reading for me, or how does tarot, just a bunch of cards, give me so much guidance? My answer to those questions is that it's not exactly just the tarot cards. It's also my intuition that's playing a role in there. So when you want to learn tarot, you also want to make sure that you're sharpening your intuition or strengthening it. I have made a few videos on it, so I will link it up here and you can check those out as well. And you need to keep practicing these things every day, or at least 3 to 4 times a week, so that when you finally start to learn tarot, or you want to read for somebody else in an emergency or something like that, you actually can give them the right message. Now, I have been reading tarot since 2019 and I have been a really huge fan of tarot. I always suggest people to go for a tarot reading. If not me, some other tarot reader, I always suggest them to dive deep within themselves, not just because I'm very spiritual, but also because there is something about spirituality that you just cannot ignore. Tarot will give you answers for things that normally you won't find them. But at the same time, I feel that tarot in general just lets you dive deep. It does guide you on things, but it doesn't give you the solutions. It might tell you that, oh, this is not the right decision for you to make, but at the same time, it's on you, and you have to do the work to understand how to make the right decision, or which decision is the right one. So I don't think that tarot just spoon feeds you, life advice, but at the same time, tarot has been a major part of my personal life and also a few of my friends'. But at the same time, it's not like we rely on tarot for every small detail of our lives. You need to have that healthy balance of, I can do some things with myself, but there are some questions that I'm not finding answer to, so let me just consult my tarot real quick. So when it comes to reading tarot, or how effective is or how accurate is a tarot reading, I would say 80% of the time, tarot readings are really, really effective and accurate because of the fact that they are not future predictions. Tarot has been, made a future predicting tool since so many years. And honestly, I just don't like that at all, because for a person like me who has only wanted guidance and not a prediction, it is really tough to sit in a market where people are just wanting to know who is the one for them, and how is their married life going to be, or how much money they're going to make, and all of those things. Whereas for me, it just doesn't matter. I just want guidance. So I would suggest, please do not predict the future. If you are really into predicting future with tarot, you are on the wrong path. Tarot is not for you then. But if you really want guidance, you want to improve your life, you want to know what wrong you're doing or what right you can do, then you can learn tarot. Then you can actually make full use of this particular tool. Now let's actually talk about the deck and let's get into more interesting things. So this is a tarot deck. Now this is the Light Seers tarot deck, and this is by Chris Ann. And a tarot deck consists of 78 cards, and this particular one also comes with a guidebook. Mostly you'll find that a lot of tarot decks do come with a guidebook, maybe not as thick as this one. But yeah, they do come with a guidebook, and it's not necessary for you to actually just read on behalf of the guidebook. But the major part when it comes to learning tarot is that you should not rely on the guidebook, and you should rely on your intuition. I will be talking about these things in the upcoming videos, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. There are in total 78 cards in the tarot deck. And these cards are actually divided into two parts. Number one is your major arcana, and number two is your minor arcana. Major arcana are cards like the magician, the high priestess, the hermit, the hierophant, the star, the sun. All of these things are your major arcana. In total, there are 22 major arcana cards, and these actually form the first half of your tarot deck. Minor arcana consists of the second half. Now, minor arcana has four suits: wands, cups, pentacles, and swords. All of these four suits represent different things. We will talk about them in depth later on in this video. But yeah, that are four suits. Each suit has cards from ace to 10, which is ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it has knights, pages, queens, and kings. So they are like four more cards in each of the suit. So that comes to a total of 78 cards in the total deck, and this is how your deck is built. This is the format of your deck. If you have any questions regarding this particular deck format, leave it down in the comments below. I will reply to you, or you can even leave me an email at hello@vaniduggal.com and I will make sure I respond to your query or question. Now, there are different kinds of tarot decks as well. When I say that different kinds of tarot deck, I just mean that the artwork is going to be different, the artist is going to be different, and probably the author of the guidebook is going to be different. So normally, if you look at a tarot deck, all the 78 cards are going to be present. They're totally two different kinds of artwork, and this is the Rider-Waite tarot deck and this is the Light Seers tarot deck. And this is what I mean when I say that there are going to be different kinds of tarot decks available for you out there. That just means that the artwork is going to be different and the guidebook is also going to be different. Now, this is the Light Seers guidebook. You can see how thick it is. This is the Rider-Waite tarot deck guidebook, which again is non-existent, I would say. I've actually done a pretty good review on these decks in another video as well, so I will link it down in the description box and over here as well, so you can check it out anywhere up here. The major thing you need to keep in mind while buying your first tarot deck is that you just need to buy a tarot deck that you connect with. If you are somebody who likes the Rider-Waite tarot deck design, go ahead with the Rider-Waite tarot deck design. It's fine, it's not a problem. You know, whatever helps you in developing the skill of reading tarot and becoming more intuitive, that's the deck that you want to go forward with. But at the same time, if you like the Light Seers tarot deck artwork, you're like, oh, this is like really colorful, let me just go ahead and buy this one. Go ahead, buy it. There's a myth about tarot that you should not buy your first tarot deck and you should always be gifted your first tarot deck. I'm sorry, but who the hell is gonna gift me a tarot deck? Especially if you are somebody who's practicing in secret. Who the hell are you going to tell this to that, I'm practicing tarot, so please gift me a tarot deck because I really need one? Just go ahead and buy your own. There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally, absolutely fine. Now let's talk about the four suits in the minor arcana. The first one is Wands. Now this is an 8 of Wands card that I just pulled out from the Light Seers tarot deck. So Wands in general actually represent our spiritual side, more about our beliefs and our values. If I see this card right now in a reading, I'm gonna be like, maybe this person is really affected by other people's opinions and values and beliefs, and it might be interfering with their own mindset about things, so they might have a very hard time making decisions on their own. The card meanings do change depending on the context of the reading, so whatever I'm saying is not set in stone. The second one is Cups, and this is the King of Cups that I have from, again, Light Seers tarot deck. This particular suit of cups represent our emotions. They are all about how we process our emotions, how nicely we express our emotions, and all of those things. King of Cups, if King of Cups comes in a reading, I'm gonna be like, okay, maybe you have issues with expressing your emotions because you always feel that you are at an authoritative state, or there is some higher authority upon you that is gonna judge you on how you express your emotions. Again, just an example for King of Cups. The third suit we have is Pentacles. This again is King of Pentacles, and very beautiful card. Pentacles actually talk about finances. Pentacles talk about how much labor that we do, how much patience do we have, and the fruit of our labor, and all of those things. So Pentacles is all about hard work and finances and stability and, the fruits of the labor and all of those things. So if King of Pentacles comes in a reading, I'm going to be like, okay, you're kind of waiting for someone to help you with something financially. You might be going through something financially right now, but at the same time, you are confident that you will be able to go through it. So this is how I would interpret this card. Again, not set in stone. It's just an example. The last suit we have is Swords. Now, this actually is the Light Seer's tarot deck. So in this particular tarot deck, the swords are represented from crows and not the actual swords as in the Rider-Waite tarot deck. In the Rider-Waite tarot deck, you can see that this is the Queen of Swords and she has a sword in her hand. And this one, in this particular tarot deck, there are crows. It is 10 of swords, so there are going to be 10 crows. And this is how this tarot deck in particular represents swords. When you're choosing a deck, you will also see these different kinds of elements in the cards, and it's absolutely fine if you don't understand them and if you just want to go with the OG Rider-Waite tarot deck, because that's exactly how symbolism is, shown. Like proper symbolism is shown in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, but this just makes things easier, honestly speaking. But anyways, coming back, the suit of swords actually represents our intellect, how intelligent we are, how we think through things, and how our personality traits and all of those things. So swords actually represents that. So if 10 of swords comes in a reading for somebody, and I would say that there are like a lot of thoughts that this person is having about something. They might be overthinking about it. Again, they are not very confident about going through this rough patch, and they might be having an issue with what to do, where to go, whom to consult, and all of those things. To sum it all up for these 4 different suits, I would say that wands actually represent you and your connection with others. Cups represent your own emotions. Pentacles represent finances. And swords represents personality. Now, when we are talking about these 4 suits, I also want to tell you about the different elements that these suits are actually interlinked with. This is just going to make your reading tarot a bit more complicated, but also a bit more easier when it comes to actually giving advice to someone else about what to do in a situation where you are reading tarot for them. Wands are actually interlinked with the fire element, and this actually shows that there is action happening, there is inspiration happening, there is a lot of passion, and there's a lot of willpower. Cups, as the photo suggests, this actually is interlinked with the element of water. This showcases, again, as I said, emotions, feelings, thoughts, all of those things. Swords represent air, the element air, and this actually, as I said, talks about intellect, talks about your thoughts, talks about your personality. It also talks a lot about logic and ideas, so that's also something that you should keep in mind. You should note all of these things down, by the way. Last but not the least, Pentacles. This represents earth. This talks about nature and stability and passion about work and your material body, your physical body, and all of those things. So this is Pentacles. I have heard a lot of people say that, do I need to learn all the 78 meanings of all the 78 cards? My answer to that as a tarot reader from the past 4 years is that no, you don't need to. You don't need to learn all the meanings of the cards. What you need to learn is how these cards are represented and what kind of things can you actually find in these cards that can be helpful for the person that you're reading for. You don't need to memorize all the 78 cards in this particular deck. All you need to be able to understand is, what is this particular card showing you? How do you feel when you look at it? Do you feel scared? Do you feel sad? Do you feel happy? Do you feel excited? Do you feel like you're running away? Do you feel like you're escaping? Do you feel like you're waiting for something? Now, look at this card and tell me, how do you feel about this card when you look at this? Do you feel scared because he is literally calling you? Or do you feel really safe with him? Do you feel annoyed? Why is he looking at me like that? Or do you feel like he's influencing you in some way? What do you feel when you look at this card? This is tarot. This is how you read tarot. In this whole mixture of where I am telling you to see at this picture and tell me how you feel when you look at this picture, this is going to tell you how the person is feeling when you're reading for them. And this only comes when you are tuning into your intuition, you are numbing that noise inside of your brain, and you're just like, okay, now I have to really, really read something for an important person, for an important issue that they are having. So I'm just going to tune into reading tarot for them. And I just want to be really, really clear on my mind. I'm not even going to be talking about how to read tarot in this video. I will be posting a few videos later on, so you can check that out. As I said, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Talking about Major Arcana, there are 22 cards in total of Major Arcana, and all of these 22 cards have different meanings. They're not exactly connected. So this is the wheel. Beautiful. Again, love the Lightseers Tarot deck for the artwork. The Hierophant. Very beautiful. Oh, I like how my Mehendi is looking on camera. The World. All of these cards have different meanings. So for example, the World has the meaning of, your life's purpose is higher than how you imagine it to be. Do good for other people and make sure that, just understand that you are a part of the whole world and it's not like your life is any different and you're not alone and all of those things. This is the Devil. People say that the Devil is a bad card. Death is a bad card. It's not. There is no card that is so negative that if it comes up in your reading, somebody is about to die in your life. Nope, that's not how it is. One skill as a tarot reader that you should actually start to inculcate very early on in your tarot reading is to turn negatives into positives. If you want to read reversals, that is fine. What do I mean by reversals? So I'm reading for you and all of these 4 cards turn up, but the Devil is reversed. If you want to read that, it's fine. If not, just flip it back to its original way that it was and read it like that. You don't have to read reversals. I would suggest don't read reversals in the start. Don't ever read reversals, because honestly, whatever you need to hear, whatever the person needs to hear whom you're doing the reading for, if it's you or somebody else, they will get that message just from the upright meaning of the cards. You don't have to read reversals. Now, there are no cards in the mix that depict death or they depict loss or they depict, any kind of mental health issue that is coming up. Anything so negative that is just gonna ruin their life. No, it's not gonna happen. When it comes to the Devil, now, as I asked you, what do you look at this and what do you feel about this particular card? So if you look at this card, it's kind of scary, because for me it is, because I just don't like how he's looking at me. I don't like his eyes, plus his hair are all like going crazy. Okay, it just feels like he has set up a trap for me, where if I actually do take his hand, I am going to get into that trap and I'm going to be like not happy with myself and my decision. You can also, a tiny detail, it's not a tiny detail actually, it's a pretty big detail. It does look like he is offering you a hand, but there is also this one person over here and there are like strings going up on his hands. This is symbolism. I should have mentioned this in the start, but yeah, this is symbolism. This is how you understand what is happening in the card, what is the story of the particular card, and then you can actually set it in the real time setting. So if I look at this, if this comes up in my own reading, I would be like, okay, something is influencing me. Somebody is trying to pull my string. Somebody is trying to, influence me in a wrong way. Somebody is trying to set up a trap for me, or they're trying to, make me feel really bad about myself or something like that. So I have to know which person that is, and then I have to cut them out of my life. So this is how you read tarot. This is the interpretation that I took from the Devil card. I am not saying that somebody is going to come and kidnap you. I'm not saying that, because that's really harsh and that's like a very big deal, obviously. But when it comes to cards like these, or when it even comes to cards like Death, for example, which is actually a Scorpio card, which is my card because I'm a Scorpio. So if Death comes up in a reading, a lot of people think that, okay, if Death is coming up in a reading, that means that somebody is about to die. No, nobody's about to die. Death actually means rebirth. It means transformation. It means that I'm shedding my old skin and taking up a new one, and I'm trying to see things from a new perspective. I'm trying to get better. I'm doing all of that hard work that is required. Or if I'm not, then hard work is required. That is what death means. Now, a lot of people take a lot of cards in a very wrong and negative way, and as a tarot reader, it can be your responsibility to make them understand what the real meaning of the cards are. Tarot is very subjective for each and every one. The practice is the same, but if I show you one card, you might give a totally different interpretation than I would do it, or somebody else would. So it's very subjective when it comes to how you understand tarot or how I understand tarot. It's not one fits all kind of a situation. Tarot is really different for different people. So if you are on the verge of reading tarot, if you love this video and you're like, okay, this makes a lot more sense, like the deck makes a lot more sense, then open your deck. If you don't have it, buy it. You have 1 week, because next Sunday I'm going to see you guys right here, and I'm going to talk about more about intuition next time. Buy that deck. Make sure it comes in a week. Sit with your deck, okay? And just flip through the cards. Write each card on a piece of paper and write one keyword that you would like to give to that particular card. Like, okay, for example, as I said, death. What do you see in this card? Introspection. Okay, death for you is introspection. Next, Queen of Wands. What do you see in this card? Celebration. Magic. Okay, celebration and magic is Queen of Wands for you. Keep doing this for all the 78 cards and tell me how it feels when you do it. Do you understand your tarot deck even more? If there is any question you have regarding any of those cards, let me know. Please do not make the mistake of relying on the guidebook 24/7 whenever you're reading tarot. It is not just going to not help you in read tarot, it is just going to make you dependent on it. And if you honestly pick up every tarot deck's guidebook, you will notice that a few meanings are here and there and they just don't make any sense. So meanings in the guidebook also change. So please do not make that mistake. I would love to see you guys read tarot intuitively and confidently by your own self. I will see you guys in the next lesson, and make sure you do the homework. I will put that again in the description box. I'll put all the links in the description box as well. For more history of tarot, I will put down a link of a blog that I wrote a while back. You can check that out as well, and a few more tips on how to read tarot for yourself. I'll see you guys in the next video, and make sure you do your homework. Bye.